Greetings! Let's talk about two different philosophies of camera production. Now, Fuji has been around for the better part of 100 years. Okay? Incredible little cameras. This is made in Japan. It's a Fuji X-T1 with a vertical grip. Right now there's a 27mm on it. Absolutely a vertical grip slut. This camera is best for the vertical grip. Fuji deserves an award and a half. One of the definitely the best camera that I've used since 2008. As far as just, there's a lot of cameras that are way up there, a lot of cameras that fail. This one sits at that little pinnacle that's like, wow, they did everything right. This is also a message to Fuji: don't screw up the X-T2. Don't screw it up, because I know it'll have to be very slightly thicker than this to accommodate a dual card slot, but don't screw it up. And I'm sure that they won't. Two philosophies. This camera is made like a brick outhouse in Japan, and its ergonomics, its construction, its quality of manufacture is par excellence. It's exquisite. There's another camera company, and it's not the only one. It's basically the only one, however. And I don't hate them. I've got one of their point and shoots, and they make good camcorders, but they're a consumer electronics company. They roll out new stuff every 9 months, and they dazzle people with glitter and BS. Wow! They throw it in your face, like, look at those specifications! And people read the specifications on the camera at Best Buy, wherever the hell it is, at the diaper and pee reviews, like, oh my God, it's got 10 billion autofocus points, and it's incredible! I gotta have one! I'm gonna mortgage the house! Honey, I gotta have one. And it turns out that the camera overheats. It's got serious noise issues, which are due to bleeding of RFI and EMI, radio frequency interference. This is the same reason. Heat causes RFI, causes signal noise. This is the same reason why digital sensors for astrophotography are cooled. Sometimes they're cryogenically cooled, because the cooler you get, the cleaner the signal. People that actually are professional shooters out in the desert will tell you that when they go out and shoot at night, when it's just cold as heck, with their Sony, cameras, that the noise just like drops 100-fold. Basically, I mean, that's because of the heat. They got heating it. So, you get a camera with wonderful specifications, like it does 4K video, oh, but it overheats. It's got noise performance issues, oh, but that's a problem. Specifications are incredible. It's got a 40 megapixel sensor. What the hell were professional photographers printing out posters with a 12 megapixel sensor back in 2008? Have printing needs all of a sudden like gone astronomical? I mean, it's like, who the hell is printing bigger than 20 by 30? Yeah, I know you have a factor where you're able to crop, and I love to crop, which is also why I love my Nikon D810s. You got an ability to crop the hell out of it. You also got the ability to crop the hell out of a DX pixel pitch sensor like this. Two different philosophies. And they come out with a new model every 9 months. It's just like way better, far better specifications than the model before it. And that means that the one that you thought was awesome is now a worthless turd. And you can't get rid of it. And everybody emails you like, I made a mistake long before I ever discovered your channel, and I bought this camera based upon its specifications. And, they'll say stuff like, I think you're an ass, but it turns out you're right. And, I want a good, reliable camera that I can actually trust. Out in the woods, at a wedding. That it doesn't system crash like a glitchy Windows computer, running a Windows XP or something like that. System crash and all your settings are gone. The most kind, gentle photographer on earth that lives in Florida, I won't mention his name, the guy that never gets mad at anything, he's Mr. Smiles and Happy all the time, he got pissed because his Sony kept crashing. The Sony Wonderbox! Oh my God, why do you hate Sony so much? I don't. I wish they had a different philosophy. But they're a consumer electronics company. They're not a camera company. They're not a camera company. Talk about the people that make Walkmans and PlayStations and HD TVs. Yeah, but they also make sensors, and there's a lot of Sony sensors in your Nikon camera, and even in that Fuji you got in your hands. Yeah, well, you know what? A sensor does not comprise a camera. If that were the case, then the Sony, with its incredible specifications, would just, you know, regardless of price, it would just be awesome. But it's not. It overheats, it has issues, has noise issues, the ergonomics are bad. God, there's just a slew of issues. They don't repair their own cameras. They have someone else do it for them. The guy that absolutely hates me online, he's a guy, I think he's the largest YouTube photography guy. He lives down in Australia. You know, I got nothing against him at all. I know he can't stand me, but I mean, he just made a video a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I mean, he had a hissy fit. It's like he sent his camera in, and he had a hissy fit, because they just, you know, here, that kind of tells you something, doesn't it? The guy that is like selling a bazillion Sony cameras by, you know, he's got like a bazillion subscribers. Can't deny it. He's talking up the Sony. Turns out he sends it in to get some. If I were Sony, I'd be like, you know, damn, this guy's like selling a lot of cameras for us. We're not even going to repair his camera. I mean, that was a real corporate douchebag move on Sony's part. If I were Sony and that guy sent me an issue with the cameras, like, don't even repair it. Just send him out a new one now. When you're getting like millions of dollars of free advertising, and you know, you have like 2 brain cells, not meaning the YouTube guy, meaning the Sony. You got 2 brain cells from the guys from, you know, hey, and I got a camera, I'm gonna send it in for repair. We're not gonna fix your camera. We are sending you a new one overnight. No! That says a lot. And my premise is, if they treat their best customer that way, how the hell are they treating you? It's like, that's how they treat the best one, the one that's like giving them lots of, you know, selling a lot of their product. Well, that doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't make any sense at all. 2 different philosophies. Fuji doesn't roll out a camera every 9 months. People are like, why the hell does Fuji take so long? Because they take their time. You know how like when you go to Walmart, you get a bunch of cheap plastic crap made by slave labor in China? You're like, oh, well, it kind of works, but, you know, it's got no soul. Yeah. It's got no soul to it. Before Fuji rolls anything out, they take care of their customers. They're number 1 in customer service, by the way, on their cameras. I don't know. Fuji makes a lot of stuff. Nikon and Canon and Fuji, their main income is not from these damn cameras or the lenses. It's from medical devices and scientific crap. That's where the serious money. I mean, cameras, like, that's chump change. That's a fact. I think actually Olympus has more hard cash than Nikon and Canon combined. You're like, Olympus? What the hell? Yeah, because what they make, medical stuff, scientific equipment, all sorts of really expensive crap for the government, for hospitals, doctors. You know, that's where the money's at. You know, ask Jesse James, why do you rob a bank? He said, that's where the money is. Money is not in schmucks like me and you buying cameras. The money is in medical, you know, that is where the money is. Nikon and Olympus and Fuji, that's where they've got their dollars invested, is making some hardcore scientific equipment, because that is where the money is. Nevertheless, you're not interested in that. It's an important point that nobody ever seems to mention, however. 2 different philosophies. This camera is the tits. I've used more cameras than every other, the top 10, well, let's be honest, I've used more cameras than the top 10 YouTube, I mean, I was repairing them 20 years earlier than these people ever picked up a camera, most of them. I don't care what you think about me. And I can tell you that there is soul in this product. Heart and soul. Forethought. Decision. Planning, pre-planning, check and double check and recheck and triple check and quadruple check before they rolled this camera out. There is no such thing as a private camera. If you compare the specifications on this Fuji X-T1, you're like, it's a 16 megapixel camera, it doesn't do 4K video. Well, I can tell you right now, you can kiss my fanny, because this camera is the tits. Its precision of design, manufacturer, quality is incredible. Nobody's paying me to say this. Fuji doesn't give a damn about me, and if I were Fuji, I wouldn't give a damn about me either. I'm telling the truth. And you pick whichever philosophy you. I don't make a dime either way. You buy what makes you happy. It's not putting any money in my pocket. It's not. Buy what makes you happy. But those two philosophies are accurate. They're not. You say, well, that's a generalization. You know, a generalization is still a truism. It means if it's generally accurate and accurate overall, then that means it's a truism. Kind of like there's some snakes that aren't venomous. It's like, you know, snakes are dangerous. It's like, well, that snake's not dangerous. I got a pet snake. Yeah, but generally you don't pick up snakes because they're not lovable creatures. And I used to have a pet snake. It's like even a snake will bite you. It's like, what are you expecting in a snake, man? You know, I've seen people make pets out of scorpions. You know, you think the scorpion's ever gonna love you? That scorpion will sting your ass if it feels like it's in the mood. Generalizations. Those philosophies are true. Oh, you ramble on too much. You bloviate. Yeah, well, maybe I do bloviate, but I'm still right. So you make up your mind. One philosophy for the other, because these two camera companies, well, wait a minute, only one's a camera company. The other one is an electronics company. So these two companies that make cameras have two different philosophies. And there's not just Sony. There's another one I won't mention. You could probably take a guess at who they are. But that's something to consider when you consider buying a camera. It's an important, because if you go off specifications alone, you'll be buying the wrong camera. Well, I'm happy with it. Well, what's your basis of comparison? You know, how many cameras have you used and tested? Well, I'm happy with it. Yeah, well, you call me up, girlfriend. Call me up, girlfriend, when the camera don't work no more, or you got a system crash. That's overheating, error. System crash, please turn off camera. Yeah, right. Think about it.